Planet Earth is home to an enormous diversity of wildlife. Human beings share the planet with 8.7 million species of plants and animals. And all these species work together to survive and maintain their ecosystems. In a basic cycle, the grass that grows in the soil feeds the cattle, cattle produce manure that in turn helps to grow more grass. Thus, it becomes a cycle. Many plant and animal species provide important benefits for human beings: food, clothing, medicines, and many more. However, uncontrolled human consumption and other wasteful activities have disrupted this ecosystem, putting Earth's biodiversity in grave danger, and the result is an unprecedented and accelerated rate of the extinction of species. Scientists estimate that half of all flora and fauna species will be wiped out within the next century.
We must also make peace with the planet. Humanity has waged a war we can only lose, our war with nature. It is a crazy fight to pick. We are detonating systems that sustain us, spewing out emissions causing our climate to implode, poisoning land, sea and air with pollution, and decimating biodiversity, causing ecosystems to collapse. We have many important milestones, including October's UN Biodiversity Conference, November's COP29, and December's conference on the UN Convention to combat desertification.
The World Wildlife Day is celebrated every year on the 3rd of March to raise awareness about the world's wild fauna and flora. Join us as we take a look at some of the endangered species in the world and understand what can be done to save their population, and how humans can exist more peacefully with animals. A species can be a mammal, a tree, a coral, a type of fungus, an insect, or any other life form. Together, we humans and they make up life on this planet. And together, this variety of life is biodiversity. So what does an endangered species mean? Endangered species is any organism threatened by extinction. From the tiniest insect to the mightiest whale, endangered species have one thing in common. They are all in danger and they are all disappearing. When a species is considered endangered, they fall into either the critically endangered, endangered, or vulnerable category. Currently, there are over 157,100 species on the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species. Over 44,000 species are facing extinction. They include 41% amphibians, 37% sharks and rays, 36% reef-building corals, 34% conifers, 26% mammals, and 12% birds. The main causes for the extinction of the endangered species are deforestation, over-exploitation, and climate change. There are also threats to species like the pervasive plastic pollution in the ocean and marine pollution to oil spills and ocean dumping. Research suggests that 52% of the world's turtles have eaten plastic waste. Why? The reason is simple. A floating plastic bag looks a lot like jellyfish, algae, or other species that make up a large component of the sea turtle's diet. Wildlife trafficking also continues to be a big problem. The fewer members in a dying breed, the more valuable and attractive it becomes to poachers and hunters. Every species plays a unique function. When a species dies, its loss triggers cascading effects down the food chain, impacting other species and the ecosystem as a whole. Let's take a look at some of the most endangered species in the world. Elephants are the largest living land animals, characterized by their long trunk, ivory tusks, and wide, flat ears. Elephants are herbivores. They eat a variety of plants, grasses, fruits, and roots. An adult elephant consumes about 100 kilos of food and 100 liters of water a day. Asian and African elephants are listed as endangered species. While some populations of African elephants are increasing, primarily in southern Africa, their numbers are falling in other areas, particularly in Central Africa and East Africa. With an estimated 415,000 elephants left in Africa, the species is regarded as vulnerable in the continent. Asian elephant numbers dropped by at least 50% over the last 3 generations, and they're still in decline today. With only 40 to 50,000 left in the wild, the species is classified as endangered. The world's largest land animal, elephant, faces many threats, especially when they pick a fight with human beings. Human-elephant conflict describes the negative interactions between elephants and humans. The most common forms are crop raiding, when elephants eat or destroy crops or destroy property. It could be simply something that triggers a defensive behavior in elephants, leading to injury or death of people. Every year, Sri Lanka reports around 200 elephant deaths in human-elephant conflicts situations. In Kenya, wildlife authorities report having to kill up to 120 elephants a year because of such conflicts with humans. In India, nearly 100 elephants die every year from conflict with humans. In India, as elephants lose their forest habitats, they increasingly come face to face with humans. Each year, many elephants are killed by human-related activity in India, some from being run over by trains, others in retaliation for damage to crops and property. Last December, a speeding train hit an elephant near the Corbett National Park in the North Indian state of Uttarakhand. The pregnant mother and her calf were crossing the train tracks near the national park when the train collided with them. The mother was killed on impact, but the baby elephant was thrown towards a nearby field and survived. The miracle baby, named Bunny, is still receiving critical care and treatment for injuries on her spine and hip joints. Bunny's mother is one of the nearly 200 elephants killed in train collisions between 2010 and 2020. An average of about 20 elephants are killed in India each year. With elephants living close to the human population, the animal-human conflict is also leading to a rising loss of human lives. Just on the 27th of February, a wild elephant killed a 44-year-old man near the tourist town of Munnar in Kerala's Idukki district. It was the third such incident in the state within a month. Earlier in the month, a radio-collared wild elephant chased and trampled a man to death in Kerala's WION district. Caught on CCTV camera, the pachyderm chased the man, broke through a gate or compound wall of a home, and killed him. Reportedly, the elephant had traveled from the forest area of the neighboring Karnataka state.
In cases of wild elephants that are involved in a conflict-like situation, the immediate response is to track the animal down, tranquilize it, and then translocate it. Translocation essentially means moving the elephant from its natural habitat to a different habitat which is at least a couple of 100 kilometers away. There it's released in a new forest in the hope that the elephant will adapt to its new home and then carry on with its life over there. However, historical evidence has proven that this has not always been successful because wild elephants have the tendency to move back to their home forest, or at least in their new habitat, they tend to move towards human settlements where there is a high risk of conflict.
The rhino is one of the most poached animals on the planet. Its horn is used in traditional Chinese medicine and displayed as a symbol of wealth. A Javan rhino horn can sell for up to $30,000 per kilogram on the black market. A rhino horn can weigh up to 1.5 to 4 kilos. Poaching made 3 of the 5 rhino species the most endangered animals in 2022: the black rhino, the Javan rhino, and the Sumatran rhino. Black rhinos almost went extinct in Kenya in the 1980s, after their number dwindled from 20,000 to only 300 because of uncontrolled poaching. Over the years, Kenya's Wildlife Service has partnered several private conservancies to ensure the safety of the species. "21 critically endangered rhinos were moved to the Losaiba Conservancy, where the species was absent for 50 years. And then a ray of hope came for the rhinos when an animal park in Western Africa celebrated the birth of a one-horned rhinoceros. Meet the 2-month-old Sonai, born last December. Sonai and his mother Sundara belong to one of the 5 remaining species of rhinoceroses, 2 in Africa and 3 in Asia. Reportedly, the last decade has seen 9,396 rhinos poached across Africa alone. On average, poachers kill a rhino every 16 hours. The Amur leopard is a critically endangered subspecies of the big cat. Between 2014 and 2015, only around 92 were left in their natural range. This number is now around 84. Amur leopards are extremely vulnerable to poachers, who kill them for their fur and bones that is used in traditional Asian medicine. The Amur leopard has its habitat to natural and man-made fires. The Indian leopard is distributed in India, Nepal, Bhutan, and Pakistan. In January this year, an injured leopard entered a village in India's northern hill state, Himachal Pradesh. Villagers found the leopard lying wounded in a field. The wildlife department rescued and treated it. Although they were once extensively spread over Africa and Asia, leopards have since declined and are now endangered. The species is categorized as vulnerable by the International Union of Conservation of Nature. Of all the big cats, tigers are the closest to extinction. Around a century ago, 100,000 wild tigers roamed freely across Asia. Now, only 4% are left. Sunda Island tigers, in particular, are the most vulnerable. The Sunda Island tiger, or the Sumatran tiger, is the smallest tiger subspecies in the world, weighing up to 140 kilograms. They are rare and only found in the Indonesian island of Sumatra. Despite increased efforts in tiger conservation, including strengthening law enforcement and anti-poaching measures, a substantial market remains in Sumatra and other parts of Asia for tiger parts and products. In India, decades of tiger conservation efforts finally paid off. In 2022, their numbers reached 3,167, from 1,411 in 2006. That's about 70% of the world's wild tiger population. That stands at around 4,500 as per World Wildlife Fund. The resurgence of Indian tigers represents a triumph for conservationists. It's a ray of hope for other countries struggling to boost wildlife numbers. Two species of sea turtle are critically endangered in the red list of threatened species of the International Union for Conservation of Nature: hawksbill turtles and Kemp's Ridley turtles. Hunting is one of the biggest threats to sea turtles, with poachers targeting their eggs, shells, meat, and skin. Recent estimates show that there are nearly 6.5 million sea turtles left in the wild, with very different numbers for each species. In the last 30 years, the worldwide populations of hawksbill turtles have fallen by at least 80%. The loggerhead turtles are known for their large heads that support powerful jaw muscles, allowing them to crush hard-shelled prey. They are environmentally significant for the way they feed on their prey, recycle important nutrients, and keep the ocean floor sediments in balance. Every year, worldwide, hundreds of thousands of sea turtles are accidentally caught in shrimp trawl nets, on long line hooks, and in fishing gill nets, a threat known as bycatch. Sea turtles reach the surface to breathe, and therefore, once caught, many drown. Loggerheads are highly migratory and have very likely come in contact with fisheries. But sometimes the turtles land up in the hands of conservationists. Something like that happened last October in Tunisia. The loggerhead turtle named Rose spent a month recovering at the First Aid Sea Turtle Center in the coastal city of Sfax after she was trapped in a fishing net. Since the center opened in 2021, nearly 80 turtles have been treated and returned to their natural environment. Members of a turtle conservation group installed a GPS tag on Rose and gave her a warm sea-off before releasing her into the Mediterranean Sea. Losing an animal or bird species is a serious concern. They matter because all species are connected in a web of life. A balanced ecosystem is one where every species plays an important role and relies on the services provided by other species to survive. Any disruption distresses them, and eventually the human race as well. This World Wildlife Day, let us be reminded of the work that still needs to be done to ensure that the endangered species and others continue to inhabit the planet for generations to come. Let us make this planet a better place for wildlife.